I know you wanted to talk about Crosby and the Ravens trade being next, so let's wrap it up with that.
Yeah, that was a shocker. I don't believe Eric DaCosta when he said they were going to sign Hendrickson and get
I
Crosby.
don't
That's
either.
not, I didn't even realize that they'd never done two first round picks in a trade ever before. And also for people out there, if they pass the proposal the Browns put forth of trading five first round picks, the NFL's fucked. They will fall behind baseball and the NBA within 10 years if they pass that proposal this year. You cannot allow GMs to trade picks 5 years out. That is a travesty because you will not only you could have a GM with a vendetta, screw over your own franchise. Because if they are like thinking, I'm going to be on my way out, I want to fucking screw them over. They can trade away all those first round or second round picks. You would need a 10-step rule. It would not be correct. You need to keep the rules in place as they are with draft picks. Otherwise, the NFL goes right down the and I'm not kidding. It's not a joke. College football spread, it goes down to number 4, maybe even number 5 within 10 years if that rule passes. You cannot let that rule pass. And for the Browns to bring it up of all teams, idiotic. But to get back onto the Ravens, wow, is it a horrible look? But man, Vegas still getting to keep all those guys. I get it kind of hurt them a little bit, but holy crap. If you're going to piss off Maxx Crosby and you get the guys that you all got, and you're still able to put some pieces more so on the O line with, Gianti, your main feature back. You got a couple of decent wide receivers, maybe not a true one per se, but you could maybe not make the playoffs, but at least look at like a 7-win, 8-win team at best case scenario. That would be a win, and I think that would if Crosby ends up staying beyond just this year, right? That could end up being a legacy defining moment for a potential future Hall of Famer if it ends up working out like that.
I mean, who's not to, I mean, that AFC West is loaded. Who's not to say the Raiders couldn't win the division this year?
Here's this was actually from Alex himself. It was on the podcast. He said his hot take was Chiefs finish fourth. I want to get your reaction to that. This is from Alex. This is Alex. Alex said he said his hot take was Chiefs finish fourth.
My hot take is Denver finishes fourth.
What was the injury to Bo Nix again? I'm trying to
Knee,
remember.
knee.
It was knee or ankle? I'm trying to remember if it was
Believe it
Achilles.
was his knee.
Yeah,
But
it
but
wasn't an
I
ACL, but
but
like
I here's my point. If not Arch Manning. Sorry, I've been playing a lot of Madden lately, and I have Arch Manning on the Raiders. My apologies. And I'm playing with Arch Manning on the Raiders. So if Fernando Mendoza is as good as maybe like Jaden Daniels was his rookie year, I think even if Bo Nix is 100% healthy, he's the worst quarterback in that division.
you're not wrong. You were, I'd say, we'll need a seat, but you're not wrong.
That's my
I,
take. If
yeah,
everybody's healthy, because last year Kansas City was hurt, it didn't work out for
yeah,
them.
but also it's just like after the year they had the year before where they eked out all these bullshit one score games. You remember the whole blocked field goal versus Denver. You remember
Yeah.
all these like those were the most. Again, they even did an article on this in terms of luck. Luckiest team probably in the last couple of years, decade. And also, Brandon, I know I shot you this story at one point. In the early portion of the Chiefs' run, right as they were getting Mahomes, or right around that time, NFL whistles started favoring the Chiefs. This was pre 2020 when this window started. So I'm not saying that the NFL favored them, right? But the Chiefs got the benefit of officiating more often going their way. Now it's not. We're going to see a far different league with the Chiefs being a little bit more on an even level, especially again.
Well, I think the
These
league as a whole is getting better because I think the quarterback play is getting better. And
I
I
don't
think
think it
you,
is. I think you need to go back to again. We need to go back to more Philip Rivers, Peyton Manning kind of processing styles, audibles. If we go back to that, oh my God, we could be in for a treat.
I think there's only three or four bad teams in the league right now that need quarterbacks.
Mine,
Browns, Browns, Jets, Arizona will need one at some point. But to me, like maybe Miami, but maybe not. Malik could be a franchise quarterback. That's what I'm saying.
He's
The definites. I'm
Matt
saying the
Flynn.
definites.
Matt Flynn. Need I
Listen,
say more?
listen. I agree with you, but I've always been a fan of Malik.
Also, Minnesota. Minnesota. Even with them having Kyler, Minnesota.
Are
JJ
we sure?
McCarthy.
No, I think that's unfair to say. I
No, he
I
had
think it's
enough time
unfair.
last year. He had enough time.
He didn't have enough time. He was hurt for 2 years. I
No,
think
he
this
wasn't.
is.
He's how many games did he start last year? How many games
He
did he play
started
in?
9 games. That's it. He only played 9 games.
Real 10 games
Yes.
played. 10. 10.
So he missed 7. He was hurt for 5 or 6 weeks. Remember, he got hurt in week 2 and didn't come back till week 9, and then didn't play. Then
Do you
Brosmer had to
remember
come in again.
what teams he was a part of at Michigan? The
Yeah.
cheaters. The cheating teams. I
Oh,
don't
the
I
team that just dominated and then won the national championship and
No, the
destroyed
one
everybody.
before that though. The year before the national title, right?
Okay, but it doesn't matter. He still won the national championship. Listen, I'm not saying JJ McCarthy's a great quarterback, but
It was still a very puzzling choice for Minnesota. And Minnesota is the one team here. Listen to this. Minnesota is the one team where they go every other year, they'll cycle through a different quarterback, and probably Murray will lead them to the playoffs, and then they'll go get somebody else. They should have kept Sam Darnold. They figured it out, and then they let him go.
well, here's the thing. Darnold was great in Seattle. I don't know if he has that success again this year in Seattle. I think it was all Quinn Kubiak.
We'll
I was
find
all
out. That'd
I
be
was all for Minnesota moving off Darnold because you drafted McCarthy. You got to give him a shot. And I think they're moving off McCarthy too quick. That's my
I don't think
opinion.
so. He doesn't seem to have like all the I want to see him this year, right? But I don't think he's going to move the needle much. He'll really have to make a jump. I think honestly, the Clint Kubiak thing is a decent point. My counterpoint is you still have Zach Charbonnet, you still have JSN. Even though you lost Kenneth Walker, dude, Charbonnet might have been the better back of the two between
I
him and
agree
Walker.
with that, but to me, I think coaching matters so much in the
But the
NFL.
offensive line also hasn't been
Who
absolutely
who's your
decimated either.
OC man? What go further than Philadelphia? I mean, we are literally the perfect example of this. When we've had a superstar OC that goes on to be a head coach, we've won or made the freaking Super Bowl. When we've had an OC that's incompetent, there's been talks about the head coach getting fired and moving off the quarterback.
Yeah, because I don't know. Philly just seems to want to create
But
drama because
coaching matters. And like I like Kevin O'Connell. I think he's really smart. But
I do too.
I think they have misjudged the quarterback position.
That's and this has been going on for years outside of when they had Kirk Cousins under long-term deals. They have constantly cycled through quarterbacks, and they've also been make playoffs one year, miss the next.
I guess like Fitzgerald, here's my point.
I'm not saying that.
People wrote
Yeah,
off Darnold. People wrote off Mac Jones when he had Matt Patricia as an offensive coordinator. Now people are in love with Mac Jones again. Like
I
I
mean,
think just to say that like
well,
oh
here's the
JJ,
thing: Kyle Shanahan's system is a QB-friendly system. It's built to help
but
the
it's a
quarterback.
similar system as the O'Connells, as
Also, can for the
LaFleur,
record, back in
Stefanski.
college, do you remember you were on that 2018 draft show? Do you remember I was on the Sam Darnold train for the longest time?
You were me and Mitch were on the
I'm
Josh Allen train.
Well, I told Mitch, and he came onto my show sometime around that time when it was just the first ever Fits on Sports rendition. My worry was Deshaun Kaiser repeating itself, and I think Buffalo is the right destination. If Cleveland drafts him, there's no chance in hell he becomes who he is today.
Yeah,
I don't
no,
think
I mean
so.
it's a fair point. You know, it's
But
just
I'm not saying this as a credit to me to just pump myself up on Darnold, but it's like sometimes it just takes the right thing. And honestly, the Jets were probably the worst place for him to go.
I guess my point is I agree with you. The quality of quarterback play maybe isn't as good as it used to be, but the amount of teams that 100,000% need a quarterback, I think is less than a diverse. Because
Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh still needs a quarterback, to be honest,
yes, they do. They need a quarterback. I agree with you.
because that's going to be. I honestly like. There are a lot of teams with decent quarterbacks, but again, there's probably a few more teams that like Atlanta. We don't know yet. We don't know.
But again, it's there's a lot more teams in the league than ever. Here's the problem. Here's the problem. And I think we'll meet in the middle on this.
Hmm.
There are a lot more teams than there ever would be, where it's like, and it's sort of a 6-7, if you will. We don't know. That's the issue. There's less great and there's less mediocre and there's more. We don't know. And that's my problem because I think the coaching has gotten better. And I don't want to move off a guy because I think
I
he
think
still
it's
has
honestly gotten
potential.
worse because we're not getting the best candidates. I think just the fact that we're leaning just full on offense, guys like Brian Flores should be a head coach right now, and
Oh
then a
no,
couple of others.
I disagree. I'm all in on the offensive coaches because I think this year was an outlier, and I
Well,
think
here's also the thing, Brandon. They realized
what
that the
made it.
last I,
Go on.
luckily Vegas is going to probably be the exception here. But outside of Vegas, every team that had drafted quarterback, number one overall the last few years, had basically fired their coach, or like the next season or whatever it was.
They
That's
have.
crazy. That's why I'm saying like maybe you just need a little tough love, and I don't
Well,
think you need that from the
Fitz,
offensive side.
here's always been my argument. If you're gonna go a defensive coach, New England, it's obviously worked, but they add an offensive coordinator who will not become a head coach again. Josh
Yeah, because
McDaniels.
luckily Josh McDaniels finally proved himself to be fully
I
incompetent.
think Seattle worked because they had a defensive coach, but they had a superstar OC. Will they?
Yeah.
Will they?
Is
I
it
mean,
also not a coincidence that Mac Jones was only good when he was coached by McDaniels as his OC?
you mean Tua?
No, McDaniels, New England, Mac Jones.
Oh, I thought you said Mike McDaniel. I got totally confused
Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
by what you said.
Yeah, no, there was only 1 year Mac Jones worked with Josh McDaniels, and that was his
Yes,
first year.
yes.
That's why I'm saying like he is he's like the Dick LeBeau except on the offensive side. Dick LeBeau was a head coach at least once, but he
I
was
would
a
argue
longtime defensive
Wade
coordinator of the
Phillips.
Steelers.
I would
Wade
argue
Phillips
Wade
too, yeah,
Phillips.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I'd say Dick LeBeau just because of his longevity, because of the Steelers defenses that were always a monster. The one time he was a head coach didn't work out. He was a longtime defensive coordinator. Josh McDaniels, we've seen it twice play out, and he's gotten the boot pretty quickly. But it's worked out swimmingly as an offensive coordinator for the Patriots. So he'll be fine as long he is basically again fair comp with Wade Phillips, but I say his more apt comp, in my opinion, is Dick LeBeau.
Like that clip from the Branchworth podcast? If so, make sure you go down there and hit that subscribe button. While you're down there hitting the subscribe button, make sure to also hit the notification bell so you never miss another upload. And make sure you check out all the other clips from the Branchworth podcast right here on YouTube.